Hi, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I thought I'd give you something of an update on how regulation is going on Bohol, at least, for handling the so-called pandemic. And what we're actually finding is that everybody is actually losing interest in this. And I think that this is happening in more places than just on Bohol. What you have got is you have got some people who are very militant about what they do, but they are in the minority. We have within fairly easy reach, that is within, say, 2 or 3 miles. We have one checkpoint, and that checkpoint, because they're used to us now, never stop us. They never stop us when we're going through. Now, it just happens that I cannot see the point, even if I could see the point, which I can't, of wearing a mask outside. In the truck, certainly if I'm driving alone, I'm not going to wear a mask. And when we pass, I don't have a mask on. Beth is very nervous about this kind of stuff, so even if she doesn't actually put it over her face, she'll have it down so that it's slung under her chin. And generally speaking, we don't get checked for any of the regulations. Like, children are supposed to go out only on, I believe it's Friday and Saturday. We don't get checked on that for going out and travelling. Except last week we went to visit some people, and we went after church. So we went and we took all the kids with us that we pick up to take to church. And so there was 10, and we didn't get stopped going out there. We got stopped coming back from Trinidad, and one very conscientious policeman was quite annoyed with us. He said it's against regulations. He didn't go into the fact that I probably shouldn't even have been out if I'm a senior. But the fact that we had minors with us, and minors are only supposed to be out Friday and Saturday, and here we were with 8 or 9 minors with us, and it was Sunday. So we tried to explain where we'd come from church and then gone on, and in the end he just let us go. But he was actually very annoyed about it, and he said to Beth, I'm just doing my job. I'm one of the few that's doing my job. So he knew that most cops, policemen, are actually just tired of the whole thing. There are, let me see, we go through a checkpoint. Well, there used to be a checkpoint in Taliban, not anymore. We do see that there are some police there that may be stopping usually tricycle drivers and motorcyclists, and they're stopping them because they are the people that are most likely to have something that's illegal that they can actually book them for if they have a mind. So we don't get stopped. Haven't been stopped, I don't think, more than once in all of the time of the pandemic at that particular checkpoint in Taliban. The other one that is on the way to Taliban, we've been stopped maybe once, maybe twice, but they just say, where are you going, where are you from? And then when they know that we're just from Burgos, which is a few miles down the road, so we're local traffic, they just say, okay, go ahead. they never check on age, they don't check on these quarantine passes anymore. So really it's beginning to fade, but the problem will be that the regulation will still be there, and so we have actually lost our rights. Now for those who think all this talk about not being able to do certain things is just well, it's just a conspiracy, isn't it, for a lot of people. Let me tell you, if you think it's a conspiracy that for a disease, a virus which has supposedly an 89 or 99% recovery rate, okay, so you're going to recover 99%. It's not true. No one, I don't believe anyone is seriously trying to say that the virus itself is a hoax. Nobody is saying that. What they're saying is, surely, and it can be demonstrated to be true, that the cure, supposed cure, is too much for the severity of the disease. Now obviously it can't be any more severe than when it killed you, but we can't even rely on the truth of the information that we're being given. Now, there was someone who used to, who I thought made a lot of sense, used to say you couldn't make a correct computation on a calculator that had a held down number. So imagine you've got a calculator and it has one number which, unbeknownst to you, is held down. So it's always in every computation. Let's say it's a number 6 or a number, whatever you want, number 8 or number 9, and every computation is plus or minus or multiplied by or whatever by that number. Until you actually realize that that's what's happening, you cannot make a correct computation. You can't add, you can't subtract, you can't do any computation at all using that calculator. And it seems that that's really what we're trying to do now. We're trying to judge the severity of something when the figures that we're being given are not correct. Now I know that the I think it's the CDC, is it? They've recently readdressed their figures that they've been giving out, and the deaths are appreciably less than they've been saying. Now, less or more, whatever, if the figure is not correct, then we can't make sane decisions about whether we are to be affected. But look at what we've lost. What we've lost is huge numbers of mom and pop small businesses, hairdressers, restaurants, small eating places, small services, hairdressers, hairdressing salons, people who employ 1 or 2, maybe 3 people, 3 employees, are not able to continue to hold on, and so they're going out of business. Huge record numbers of bankruptcies. There are record numbers of people who are losing hope in life because they are trapped in small apartments or even just bed sitting rooms. In America, in the UK, a lot of people live in bed sitting rooms. A bed sit. It's a very common way of living. You move into the big city and the best that you can do, usually if you're starting out, especially like I came out of the army, I moved into the big city, I moved into a bed sit, and I shared that with a friend. So, gives you an idea. And so there are people who live alone, and they really are living lives of desperation, because there seems to be no end, especially if they're living and watching television and they're seeing talks given by Mr. Gates. I shouldn't even say that name because my video will probably be deleted, but he is there saying things that we hold near and dear to us. The ability to walk out, the ability to commune with friends, shake hands, hug people that we care about, people that we love that we haven't seen and live somewhere else, we can't go and visit them. We cannot commune in church. We can't go to church in the same way as we always used to. I remember when I went to a church in LA, and this was in the San Fernando Valley, and one of the, I think it was the church on the way, I'm not quite sure about that, it's a long time ago. I only went to that church a couple of times, but part of their service at the end was that you would actually shake hands with everybody that was within reasonably easy reach of you. People would come, and those who felt so inclined would actually ask you your name and tell you their name, introduce themselves. And if that happened often enough, because people are creatures of habit, and they usually sit in the same place in church, that's what you'll usually find. So you've got people who like to sit at the front, people who like to sit at the back, people who like to sit at the side, and they end up knowing the people who are so habitually inclined as themselves. And with the handshake and the after the service introduction of yourself to everybody, you get to know people. That's the whole idea of going to church, praying together, and sometimes sharing your stories, either success stories where you are showing how thankful you are of a blessing that may have come to you, and asking for the prayers of others to help over some upset, heartbreak or medical challenge. So that has been taken away from us. So small businesses have been taken away from us. Now why should it be that you cannot congregate in church when you can congregate in, say, Walmart? What is the logic there? Now, the other thing is that we are being forced to do this, even though we may not agree. Now, normally we consider ourselves a sovereign being. We are beholden to ourselves, and as long as we don't go out and start shooting people or killing them or all of this, then we are responsible for our own medical well-being, our own health, and now that's being taken away from us. And someone in the particular case that we all have grown familiar with, someone who doesn't have any medical training whatsoever, is making huge decisions about the way that we should protect ourselves. And yet the way that this is being done is already bringing the world to its knees financially. Now, for the very rich, this is not affecting them, but in the last in the last big meltdown for real estate in America, for which I was present and for which I lost my house too, it was revealed, it very quickly became clear that people generally were running with a credit card balance of $10,000 to $15,000, which was a continually running debt which they were servicing, and that they only had to miss 2 paychecks. They were 2 paychecks away from losing their home. And it was set up so that, in fact, because of the way that they had it worked out, they didn't lose anything. The banks didn't lose anything. If you defaulted on your loan for your house, the bank didn't lose anything. They were insured against that default. And if you went along, as I did, I had excellent credit, and I went along and I asked, listen, I just need you to work with me. I need 3 months where I don't have to be pressurized with that payment. So if I can miss those with your agreement without being penalized with my credit worthiness and my credit rating, it would be a huge help to me. Sorry sir, we can't do that. Why would you not work with me? I'm here, rather than just not stop paying, I'm here to try to work it out. No, I agree. And I was talking to the manager at the time. No, I agree, but the way that the corporate do it is, if you stop paying, after 3 months it goes to collection, and then you can negotiate with them about how you're going to do it. I said, but by then my credit will be destroyed. And he said, yes it will, and that's very unfortunate. See, so there was a whole agenda in there which didn't include little old me or little old you, if you were my neighbour and in the same kind of trouble. So we've seen similar stuff to this already, in which we really don't matter. And coming to terms with that is very, very difficult. And a lot of people still believe that the idea is to get everybody well. Whereas if you look at the idea of depopulation, that's about reducing the population. I wonder, the uneasy feeling that leaves me with is, will I be one of the reduced? And I'm not really very pleased about that. So one of the things that I would really like people to do is to not disbelieve everything. Try looking at the idea of a conspiracy as being a two-sided coin, not just the one side which is put that way by the establishment, which you have always trusted. Oh, maybe you have. But try to look at it the other way. Maybe it's the other way that is a conspiracy. And I listened to one of the extreme voices would have to be David Icke. For me, not so extreme, but most people, when I shared a talk that he gave outside a building in London during a demonstration, where he talked about the cashless society, where he talked about a controlled, guaranteed income, where once you've brought everybody to their knees financially and they've got nothing, like is happening in so many parts of the world, where the government is guaranteeing to give enough to be able to eke out an existence, not really a living, but to just bare necessities. Stay in your home, stay away from church, stay out of this, stay out of that, don't do business, don't do all of those things which are our inalienable rights. And they'll give you a little pocket money in order to be able to survive. And he was proposing that this is what would happen. Actually, it's happening, isn't it? It is already happening. So that part of it already is not a conspiracy. It's going on now. What's going on now is that, in fact, I could be stopped from going out on Saturday and Sunday. I should go out on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I cannot go to the bank because I would be stopped at the door, and even if I were allowed in, I would have to fill out a little piece of paper which would be for contact tracing, and that would supposedly keep everybody safe. It's not going to keep everybody safe, is my feeling. When we go out, if we take Talic Lick with us and BB, we can't actually take them if it's in the week. We can only take them on Friday and Saturday, which means that actually we cannot take them to church. Now, fortunately, police are taking a judgment call and actually working out that this is, they're going to church and that's it. So, fortunately, as I said, people are growing tired of it. And I notice now that if you're going to fill out a piece of paper in order to go into, say, a store like Alturas for us, I don't know that this is true, but possibly following the same kind of MO, if you were to go into, maybe if you go into Home Depot, you also have to fill out a little piece of paper which gives your name and your phone number, so that you can be traced if they suddenly find out that somebody has died that, say, works in Home Depot. I don't know that that's the case, but if Alturas, which is our equivalent here, then that would be it. But other smaller stores are not doing that. Other smaller stores that you have to go into, like hardware stores, they're not doing that contact tracing. And yet I understand, once again, this is not confirmed, I have no way of confirming this, but I have seen it on Facebook, that people are being paid a great deal of money to volunteer and go to be trained for doing contact tracing in the UK. I saw a figure of £7,000 sterling. So we've already, it's not a conspiracy that we're going to lose all of this. It's not a conspiracy that people are going to starve. It's not a conspiracy that people are going to become so desperate that suicide rates are going to rise. None of that is a conspiracy. It's already happening. So maybe we all need to readdress exactly how we look at this and then judge the way in which we're going to respond. It's food for thought. Thanks for looking in. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.